Hi guys, it's Dr. Adriane Hines here. I wanted to talk with you guys today about COVID, but we're going to talk about it a little bit different. And the reason why we're going to talk about it a little bit different is because right now in the media there is so much talk that is fear-based and so negative, and we're just bombarded with all of these unfortunately negative feelings and fearful thoughts, and it's just making, I think, the world a little bit crazy. So, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about not the craziness that's going on that's associated with this virus. We're going to talk about all of the amazing, wonderful things that have actually come about because of this virus. So, let's talk about that. And not only that, but I really want the media to step up and promote more positive things that are actually occurring and happening right now. Because, yeah, I understand with the media, it's their job to report the news and report stories. But unfortunately for them, I think that a lot of them have to report the shocking stories and things that are really sexy, if you will, that will get a lot of clicks. And so sometimes they are reporting things that are blatantly false. We have CBS who has reported had a story where they actually put an Italian hospital and claimed that it was a U.S. hospital. So shame on you for doing things like this and creating more panic and fear in our society. So I really, really am appalled and disgusted at how fear is the driving force for our media. So for those of you out there in the media that aren't doing this, I love you. And please keep promoting all of the great positive things that are going on right now, because yes, it is unfortunate what we're dealing with and it's not a fun situation, but there are some positives that have come from this situation. So we're going to talk about that. So positive that I have found in this situation is we are learning that there are so many different occupations and jobs and roles that can be done from home. How amazing is that? So me as a woman, that's really, really important for me because as a woman, we have kids. And so some of the fear that my patients have coming into my office is, okay, well, I'm so excited about having this baby, but then what happens once baby's born and now I have to go back to work and I'm not able to be with my kid like I want to, or what happens if my job's not there? So this is actually really, really amazing things that can potentially come from this crazy crisis is companies are realizing that more people can work from home and they can be more efficient working from home. So this is a really cool, interesting thing. I was in the grocery store the other day and I'm minding my own business, keeping my social distance. And a girl is passing me in the aisle and she goes, "Isn't it great how they've restocked everything?" And I said, "Yeah, it's great. It's wonderful. Hopefully they have some eggs because they've been out for a bit." And so we started this conversation and we gave each other virtual high fives. And she was in insurance. And so she's been able to work from home her entire time. So this wasn't a hard transition for her to now be in quarantine and working from home. She said she has friends that are in medical billing and they're able to work from home. And get this, they're actually more productive working from home than they were working in their cubicle at their office. And so I had to ask myself, well, why does that happen? Like, why are people more productive working at home? And maybe coming from a female, I have a female perspective, so don't jump on me for all of this, but being a female and going to work, it does take a little bit of time to get ready. This hair takes a while to blow dry, takes a little bit to put on some makeup, especially when you're somebody like me who doesn't wear makeup. So we have to spend a few hours in the morning getting ready just to go to work. Not only that, but then we have to drive to our offices. So we're talking about hours that were not productive. These are not productive hours. These are just getting to our job to be productive. Now, I drive 30, almost 45 minutes to get to my office. So I understand this completely. And so now you're taking that component completely out. So now these women are able to put their hair up in a ponytail and they're able to get down to business in their yoga pants. And I think that is absolutely incredible. that no wonder they're more productive and they're happier. They don't have to deal with negative coworkers or with traffic jams and any of that craziness. So it makes sense that they're more productive. So that's one of the amazing positives that I have found in this situation. So hopefully you guys think that's a positive as well. So working from home, we're actually finding more people can do this. This is great. This is amazing. Let people continue to work from home if they are able to be productive and it doesn't interfere with normal business. This is great. We can open up more jobs. We can save less commuting time. We can decongest our highways because now I will tell you, because I have to drive to work, I will tell you the roads are so much less congested. And the reason why is because people are home. So they're not driving to go to work. They're not just driving around to go to the store or whatever they're doing. So the roads are less congestion, which means less pollution. So one of the things that was interesting is that reporters are talking about how amazing the sky looks in LA. Because LA notoriously, I've lived in LA, I understand this. So notoriously, when you drive into LA, there's a haze. It's kind of gross. And it's just from all of the nasty pollution from all the cars. And you're seeing freeways that are now empty. And so we have less pollution. So this is a really good thing. People are not understanding how this is really making a positive impact for our environment, a positive impact for people's morale. So I'm a big fan. So that's my one plus. Okay. So then the other thing that is interesting is we already talked about working from home. Guess what? Those people that are working from home, if you have kids, you are now a homeschool teacher. So as frustrating as that is sometimes, because we're taking on a role that we're not used to taking on. So I'm used to going to my office. I'm used to taking my kid to school. He does his thing. We come home, we discuss homework, we work on projects, he turns the stuff in, and he gets grades. I make sure they're good grades, and we go on about our business. So now it's my responsibility to make sure that not only does he understand the material that he's being taught online, but that all of his projects are done. Everything's done on time. So here's what I have learned from homeschooling. One, you've got to be really organized. But the really cool thing that has come from it on my end with my kid particularly is I've learned more about his learning style. My kid gets really frustrated when he can't get the answer really quickly. So he's kind of lazy. Sorry, but that's just the truth. So how do I combat his laziness? Well, I've got to be creative. So I have learned his learning style is definitely different than being able to listen to a video and understand what is being said. Because the problem is he hears what somebody is saying, but he doesn't listen. So that's the laziness that I'm talking about. So we have had to actually sit down, and what happens is he has his lecture that he goes through, but then it is now my job to make sure that I quiz him on what was just said. I need you to regurgitate the information that was just given to you. So this is actually really good because now it's teaching him, because that he doesn't like that. He doesn't like the fact that I'm quizzing him. He doesn't like the fact that I'm questioning things. So it's actually making him less lazy because he doesn't want me nagging him. So we're fixing his laziness problem because I learned that he had that in the first place. So I am so sorry to his teachers that have had to nag him because of his I'm not listening, I'm hearing what you're saying, but I'm not really paying attention kind of mentality. I apologize for that. I had no idea this was a thing, but now I do. And so we're fixing it. So that's a really cool thing. And I'm sure many of you are dealing with the same thing. You're dealing with kids that you didn't know that their favorite subject was math, or you didn't know that reading was hard. I don't know. There's plenty of things that you're probably learning from your kids that you didn't know because we're so used to, as a society, separating ourselves from our children's education. We send them off to school and we expect our teachers to teach them, and we expect everything to be perfect and us to have limited or little interaction. So this is actually really cool. Positive thing for me is we're actually working on bettering how he learns. So I don't even know. Sorry if that's terrible grammar, but it is what it is. So that's my positive for that. Here's my other cool positive. I sew. I was taught to sew by my grandma. I've been sewing since before I was 10 probably. So it's been a long time. And I actually like doing it. It's a fun, exciting thing for me. I know it sounds really boring, but it's fun for me. It's fun to be creative in that kind of realm. Here's the cool thing is that some women who know how to sew, whether they be older grandmas that have been sewing forever or women that have a sewing machine in their other room that's collecting dust that they haven't used in years, these women are now out, or men, whoever is sewing these amazing masks for our healthcare professionals, they're out contributing and helping these healthcare professionals that are unfortunately at a shortage right now. And they're utilizing these amazing sewing skills that, one, were not really taught much anymore. And I was lucky enough. I didn't think of it at the time. And it's amazing how I had so much amazing stuff with my upbringing that I didn't appreciate at the time that I so appreciate now. I love the fact that I was in the kitchen and taught to cook. And I love the fact that I was taught to sew, because those are amazing skills that unfortunately a lot of people don't possess anymore. And they're great. They're amazing. And look at how we're able to utilize them now in times of crisis. So all of those women and men who are out there making those masks for health professionals, I adore you. I think this is amazing. I love that you're able to be creative and then contribute to the overall solution to this crazy problem that we're dealing with right now. So thank you very much. I'm sure that you love being creative and getting back into that, because I know that seeing people making these masks, I'm like, man, I need to get back into doing my sewing because I really miss it. So I'm sure that that's been an amazing, wonderful thing for you to be able to get back into it. And I appreciate it. So thank you very much for helping with the solution to all of this craziness. So I'm grateful for that. Let's see. The other thing that I'm grateful for is everybody is getting out into nature and exercising, because we have no gyms. We can't go to the gym anymore and get on a couple of equipment and do some free weights and do what we need to do. So you're either at your at-home gym or you're exercising in nature. I have seen so many families in my neighborhood that are out riding their bikes together or out going for an evening stroll together. It's incredible. So not only are we having this family bonding session so that we're, able to talk about the day or talk about the weather or weird bugs. I don't know what you guys talk about. My kid talks about the fact of paying for stuff at Lowe's with toilet paper. I don't know. There's weird stuff that people talk about. So whatever you're talking about, that's great. The fact that you guys are talking as a family, that's the important part. So I love that people are out there as families and they're exercising together. The way that I'm getting my kid out to exercise, he loves football. So what do? We make football even more fun because it's just the two of us. So how are we going to make a football game? We can't really do that. So to make football more fun for us, we are throwing the football back and forth. Whoever drops the football, the person who drops it has to do an exercise. But they don't get to choose the exercise. The exercise is chosen by the person that threw the football. Now, you have to make sure it's a good throw, because if you throw a garbage throw that nobody can catch, that's not really fair. So he misses a catch, and guess what? He has to do sit-ups. All right, 20 sit-ups. Go. You missed a catch. All right, guess what? I guess you're doing 15 air squats. Let's go. So not only are we practicing football that he loves, but we're also getting in more exercise as well. So that's a really cool game that we've come up with that is a fun way for us to be able to get out into nature and still do exercise together. And it's a fun game for us. So anyway, so that's what we do. But I love this. I have seen more people out riding bikes. I have seen more kids playing outside. Oh my gosh.
when I was my kid's age, even before I was my kid's age, we would go outside in the morning. We would have breakfast. And as soon as we were done with breakfast, boom, outside. We were not inside until the lunch bell was rang and we knew we had to come in to eat food. So we spent all of our time outside playing. I mean, we came up with weird, dangerous games like tag with pecans, which is I don't advise, but we had fun and we were playing and did crazy fun things outside. So there's so many more kids now that I see in the neighborhood that are out playing with each other and riding their bikes and being kids. So I absolutely love that and adore that. And so I'm so glad that as a society we're able to get out into nature to do more exercise, but also to be able to bond as a family, doing exercise and things like that. So that's the other thing that I'm grateful for, which also brings me to another point of exercise that I'm super, super grateful for is all of these amazing instructors that are normally teaching classes at yoga studios or at gyms. And so now they are quarantined and stuck at home. But what are they doing? They are putting their classes on the internet. They are doing Facebook Lives or they are doing YouTube videos so that you can actually go and be part of the class. There are gyms that are doing Zoom meetings and everybody's logging in from their living room and they're able to have a group fitness class in a Zoom meeting. How stinking cool is that? So I love that we're becoming creative with how we're exercising. I'm becoming creative as well, so look for my other video on my new project that I'm doing later today. So I'm making a ballet bar. So you just have to be more creative, obviously, with some of your exercise options. But I love that we do have the option to continue some of our classes that we're used to. My yoga instructor is incredible, and I'm able to join in her yoga class on Facebook Live. And if I can't make the time that she's doing a Facebook Live, guess what? I can watch it later, and I can do the yoga class that I would have been doing whenever it's convenient for me in my house. So thank you to all of these instructors that are doing classes online and making the classes that would normally be accessible only to those that are going to that specific gym to everybody. Like, you are opening yourself up to an audience of the world, and I absolutely love that. So thank you very much for doing all of those amazing things, because you're making this situation that we're in more tolerable, and I greatly appreciate it. I'm very grateful that I have plenty of options online because these amazing people have stepped up and put out their material. They have a gift, they have a talent, and they are sharing this gift and this talent with the world, and I really, really appreciate it. So that's my thought on exercise. Okay. So the last thing that I want to talk to you about that I'm really grateful for is how this situation has brought families together. Obviously, we're stuck inside most times, and we're, with our families doing either school or work or whatever we're doing. But the interesting thing that I've noticed is, even with my kiddo personally, is he's definitely more appreciative of the fact that I'm around more and that he gets to spend more time with me. And he's good now about separating himself from his friends and wanting to have more family time. So we're able to have more bonding and more time together, and we have more conversations and we have more projects. The cool thing is that we're now doing more projects around our house. So I'm doing a lot of painting because I love painting. So I'm painting, hand painting furniture. And so he's helping me with some of that. He has his own painting projects that he wants to do. So we're going to add more of those projects. And so there's a lot of stuff that we're able to now do together because we have more time. Not that my schedule has gotten any better, but because I'm not driving as much as I used to, that's allowing a lot more time for me to free up. And not only that, but my kid doesn't care if my hair is in a stinging ponytail and I haven't washed it in 2 days. He does not care in the least. So that's totally fine for me to do and still have projects and quality time with him because that doesn't matter. So I think that's really an amazing plus for this situation and for everything here. The other thing is that with family time, more people are cooking together. Oh my gosh, that is another thing that I grew up doing. And it was just a normal thing for me. And I didn't really appreciate the skill and the I don't know, the ability to do this. And so it's been really, really great to see all of these families cooking together and coming up with these really cool recipes and posting things online. And I just love how we can bond over amazing things like this. Like I'm teaching my kid to cook more. He loves cooking. And so we're doing more recipes. We're trying new things. We're experimenting with different flavors and, things like that, expanding his palate. So this has been a really cool thing for us as a family, which I'm sure is the same for you and your family, is being able to cook together, being able to have family meals and sit down. And a lot of times we're so busy with work, school, and then after school, we have after school activities. Oh, I have to get Susie to soccer and I have to get Joe to baseball. I don't know. So we're so busy with our after school activities. And then by the time we get home, it's like, oh, it's so late and we have to have food now. So for us to, have a family meal is a little difficult. Not only that, but then we're like, oh, well, you've got to do your homework and I need to cook. And so we may be able to meet whenever we're done cooking. I don't know. So I think that it's great because it's allowed everybody to settle down a little bit and take more time. And in doing so, we're really able to bond as a family. So I think this is great. This is a win-win. And the last thing, which I think that I said it was the last thing like 2 times ago, but who knows? I do what I want. So the last thing is stress relief. So one of the cool things that I have noticed is people are putting on online meditations. They're doing online prayers that you can be part of. Church services are online. This is amazing stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We're able to really decompress with these different avenues, and we're able to do them from our home. So I absolutely adore this because stress is a huge thing that is going to interfere with our immune system and downregulate it. So we definitely want to eliminate stress in our life, but obviously we're dealing with this pandemic that is very stressful. So how do we combat all of that? Well, we need to do things like prayer and meditation and quiet time and deep breathing exercises. So we now have the ability to do so, and there's plenty of people online that are helping guide us through this, because I will tell you, meditation is a practice. And the reason why I say practice is because it is not easy. It's not easy to clear your mind for long periods of time and to not have other thoughts come in. Oh, a grocery list, or, oh, I've got to do this activity, something else to come in. But the cool thing is that that's normal and that's part of meditation. The part of meditation that's really, really important is having those things come in and you pushing them aside and focusing. That is true meditation, being able to push those other thoughts aside and focus. So meditation is great. It really improves the immune system. It's really helpful for overall well-being. So I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful how we're able to really kind of step back a little bit and maybe not be so fast-paced. I think people are realizing that we don't have to be so go-go all the time. We don't have to be so attached to our electronics. We can get out into nature and do things like that. So I like it. I like that things have slowed down a little bit. I think it's good for us to have this little bit of a pause, as I like to say. I don't think that, this isn't going to be forever, but one of the things that I want people to remember is that think of how great things are. And when we do go back to our lives and we're going back to work and things become more fast paced again, let's remember how we felt right now so that when things do go back to being fast paced, that we're able to say, okay, I need to take a time out and I need to pause because that fast pace is not good for me. So, or I need to make sure that I'm spending more time with my family because family is so important. So, I think that if we can remember the lessons that we're learning right now and have gratitude for what we're learning right now, I think this is going to be really impactful for us when things do go back to the fast paced version of our reality. So, those are my thoughts. Fun little rant, I guess, if you will, but I really thought it was important to let people know that there's so much to be grateful for right now. And yes, we are unfortunately have a lot of fear in the media and even social media and a little bit of craziness around us. But I really want you to step back and think logically about what's really going on and how can you be grateful for this situation, because there's always a lesson to be learned. There's always something to be grateful for in any situation. So we really just have to ask, what am I grateful for? And whatever you're grateful for now, continue that. Continue those practices when things go back. Okay? Well, you guys stay safe. Be